Hello YouTube, this is PeckTech, and for my first video in the series where I explore the steampunk world, I'd like to talk to you about an author and an illustrator that I met in Atlanta. Emily P. Bush and William Kevin Petty have put together a wonderful piece of children's literature called Her Majesty's Explorer, a steampunk bedtime story. They had a lot of interesting things to say about it, and I'd like to introduce them to you now. So take a look.
Can you tell me a little bit about the book?
Sure. It's the story of St. John Murphy Alexander, who's an explorer for Queen and Country. And St. John Murphy goes out and explores, finds new and wonderful things, gets very, very tired and very dirty, goes home, gets cleaned up, goes to bed, where he dreams of marching for the Queen.
Very nice. Tell me, what inspired the story?
Well, it's Kevin's work, in fact. We met on Facebook, and I'm a novelist. I have 2 steampunk novels, Chend and the Airship Rothman and The Gospel According to Purdue. And Kevin saw those and attempted to draw some pictures of the Brockman, which he did very well. And so he sent those pictures to me, and I looked through his portfolio, and I found a picture of his automaton, Soldier, who's affectionately called Number 7. And Number 7 was inspirational in the idea of St. John Murphy Alexander. And so when I said, here's this story, he said, let me take Number 7 and alter him a little bit. And so it was a little give and take collaboration, which was really good.
Now, you were recently deployed.
I was. When Emma and I first met, I was in Kuwait assisting with the drawdown of forces in Iraq. And we had a little downtime, and he brought a sketchbook with me, and I started doing some stuff that people judge as steampunk. So I met Emily when I was researching the genre. And so one of my images was of a Victorian soldier / robot, and that's what we, the seed for the book that we have here.
How would you describe your style of work?
Well, I had a lot of experience early on in my life working in museums and stuff like World War II vessels, military museums, and art museums of all kinds. And I love to use the textures and the little insights of how things are built in my work. So steampunk seems to be, the steampunk crowd seems to have adopted it, and I got to tell you that's very flattering. So right now, if I had to identify myself as anything, I would like to. I hope they agree.
I sent him the text, and I didn't tell him what to draw, but I made some suggestions about what you take these suggestions and run with them. And then at one point he said to me, we created a little character in the idea that we would hide little pictures throughout the book that kids could go back and look for. He's exceptionally good at detail and drawings. Yeah, and some of his cross-section pictures of guns or rockets or ships and things, incredibly detailed and fun to look at. And I said, well, why don't we put some of these things in so when the kids, the parents will read the story to them once, and then we can have a little seek and find page, and the kids can go back on their own at bedtime, looking through the book and relaxing, looking for those little things. And so he put in Steam Duck, and Steam Duck just took a life of his own. I showed that picture around, and everybody's like, stickers, T-shirts, we want our own Steam Duck, and so it was great. And we marketed around, looking for Steam Duck, you will be. But it was just going to be a tiny little thing. And he wrote to me and said, we got to write a story about Steam Duck because we're not going to get out of this alive if we don't.
People are expecting the book to have a lot more Steam Duck than just that.
And so in that instance, he told me, we need to write this. And I said, okay, and then I wrote it with the idea of knowing him well enough now that I threw in specific words that I knew would be strong suits for his drawing. What he does with wind and water and wispy things, like anything that swirls, he's great with that. His animals are adorable, so I put in the words otter, fish, and frog, so he'd have to draw me an otter, a fish, and a frog. Fueled by soda pop, something with a swirly straw, he drew that. And so it was interesting to me as a writer to write with the idea of knowing what he was capable of. So that was fun.
What kinds of things do you pull on for inspiration for your writing?
My dorky friends, in fact, yeah. Especially for the novels, when I make my friends the characters, the books write themselves. Because they're such great people, and knowing them like I do, it's easy to know how my characters would react to different things, or with each other, or in certain situations. So I love to put my friends in, and they love to read about themselves, or some shadow of themselves, and that's great. So, but on the other hand, it makes it difficult for my friends to have a conversation with me, because every conversation we have ends up in a book.
All right, so you have something going on with Captain Robert. Are you willing to divulge what's going on with that now?
I am. Captain Robert has 2 young daughters, ages 6 and 9, and I knew that, and I sent a copy of the book, an electronic advanced reader copy, to him. And I said, if you'd give us a blurb, I'd be thrilled. Read it to your girls, see what you think. And so he did, and he sent back a little blurb and review that says, I read it to the girls, they loved it, and they want their own Steampunk. And I said, that's terrific, can I quote you on that? And he's, sure, you can quote me on that. And then the next time he wrote back, he said, and by the way, I'm happy to read the entire book for the video book. And I said, sold.
What a tremendous voice.
Yeah, and a few days later, he sent the audio, and I have to tell you, the gravitas of my words coming out of his mouth. I was like, okay, that made it even better. So that's something that's going to be coming in the next couple of weeks. I want to take my time, make sure that the images look great, and our time go well with his voice. I don't want to rush it, because it's so, I mean, it was delightful to hear him read it.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Well, thank you two both a whole lot for speaking with me. I really appreciate it, and I wish you the best of luck with your book. Her Majesty's Explorer, pick it up, read it to your kids. Terrific story, terrific illustrations. It's available now.